This is your weekly report on corruption in the Philippine government. The Office of the Ombudsman has filed criminal charges against 8 officials of the Department of Public Works and Highways Bulacan 1st District Engineering Office and 3 executives of St. Timothy Construction Corporation over alleged anomalies in a 53.9 million pesos flood control project in Calumpit, Bulacan. In a statement read by Assistant Ombudsman and spokesperson Miko Clavano on Thursday, the 4th of June, the Ombudsman said the respondents were charged with 1 count of violation of Section 3E of Republic Act No. 3019, or the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, and 1 count of malversation of public funds or property through falsification of public documents under the revised penal code. The charges were filed in connection with from DPWH contract ID number 22CC0058 involving the rehabilitation of a river construction structure along Bulusan and Calumpit, Bulacan. The findings of the Office of the Ombudsman reveal an utter and flagrant disregard for government auditing and accounting regulations, Clavano said. Specifically, investigators discovered that payments for the project's first billing were released despite an unapproved disbursement voucher, he said. Clavano added that full payments for dredging and embankment works were made without any basis for computation or the necessary supporting documents required to prove project accomplishment. These collective actions resulted in an unwarranted benefit to St. Timothy Construction Corporation totaling approximately 53,917,731 pesos, causing significant financial injury to the government, he said. The Ombudsman also said the investigation established that the respondents allegedly allowed the contractor to take possession of and misappropriate government funds. The investigation further established that the accused officials allowed the contractor to take possession of and misappropriate these funds, which constitutes the illegal act of malversation of public funds. Clavano named respondents from the DPWH were Merg Jaron Caparas Laos, Bryce Erickson Diaz Hernandez, JP De Leon Mendoza, Ernesto Cose Galang, Noberto De Leon Santos, Lorenzo Alcoriza Pagtalinan, Juanito Coronel Mendoza, and Floralyn Utuximbulan. Also charged were St. Timothy Construction Corporation Managing Officer Maria Romar Angeline Discaya Romando and spouses Cesar Rowena C. Discaya and Pacifico F. Discaya II, whom the Ombudsman identified as the company's beneficial owners. The criminal informations were filed before the Regional Trial Court in Malolos City, Bulacan on the 4th of June. The Ombudsman said former District Engineer Henry Alcantara and Project Engineer Paul Jason F. Jr. were excluded from the criminal informations after entering into immunity agreements with the agency. Following the filing of the cases, recommended bail for the graft charge was set at 90,000 pesos for each accused. No bail was recommended for the charge of malversation of public funds through falsification of public documents. The prosecution will now proceed to the trial phase, where evidence will be presented to hold the individuals accountable for the misappropriation of public resources intended for vital community infrastructure, Clavano said. Dismissed Police Lieutenant Colonel Rafael Dumlao, the alleged mastermind in the killing of South Korean businessman Jiik Jo, has been arrested on Tuesday morning, Interior and Local Government Secretary John Vicramilo announced. Dumlao was caught by the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group National Capital Region in a house in Pasantamo, Quezon City at around 5 am on the 9th of June, Ramilo detailed in a press briefing in Camp Crame. He was sleeping in a house. The tactical team entered, broke down the door, arrested him. He is now in CIDG NCR. It looks like he's been there for a while. We do not know who owns the house, but we have an informant that saw him there. The walls were high. It had a lot of trees, the secretary explained. We surveilled him for around 3 weeks. It was the wedding of his daughter last Sunday. We tracked his movement if it really was him. It seems he watched the wedding on Facebook Live. He did not attend personally, but there was movement in the house. We confirmed it was him, he added. The dismissed police officer is accused of kidnapping with homicide, kidnapping and serious illegal detention, and carnapping, with the Department of the Interior and Local Government offering a monetary reward of 1.09 million pesos for information leading to his arrest. Romulo did not identify the informant but noted that the agency was now verifying them for the monetary reward. G was reportedly abducted by police officers in Angeles City, Pampanga on the 18th of October, 2016 under the guise of an anti-drug operation and strangled inside the PNP headquarters in Camp Crame. His remains were cremated and his ashes flushed down a toilet. This was the result of the abuses of Oplan Tokhang. Tok Hang gave too much to the PNP operatives to do things at their whim without the process of law, Ramila said. Operation Tok Hang, a flagship operation of then-President Rodrigo Duterte's war on drugs, aimed to convince suspects to surrender and stop participating in the illegal drug trade. Tok Hang comes from the Cebuano word tok tok, to knock, and hangayo, to plead. Although official statistics estimate that 6,000 people were killed during Duterte's drug war, human rights groups estimate that the death toll could be up to 30,000. In this case, we did everything according to law. We did not violate any procedure. We read him his rights. We did not hurt him. We've brought him in for proper investigation and he will face justice, Ramilo added. Dumlao was initially acquitted by an Angeles City court in the 20th of June 23, but the Court of Appeals overturned the acquittal in the 20th of July 24 for grave abuse of discretion, finding the former police officer guilty of kidnapping and killing. Asked why Dumlao had been hiding in Quezon City, Ramila answered, "It's easier to hide in Metro Manila rather than the provinces. In the provinces, when you're not known there, they'd report you to the barangay captain. No one notices you in Metro Manila." Also asked on Dumlao's long hair, the secretary explained, "If you're in hiding, it'd be harder to get a haircut, right? So, that's why he looks like that now." Dumlao will be brought to the Court of Appeals for the return of the warrant, Ramila noted. He added that Dumlao was caught with a 9mm pistol, which was registered to another individual whom the secretary did not immediately name. Further, investigators seized Dumlao's cell phone and laptop for forensic examination to trace whether he had been assisted in hiding by other individuals. South Korean Ambassador Lee Sang-hwa, South Korean President Lee Jae-myung and Ji's widow Choi Kyung-jin have been informed of Dumlao's arrest, according to Ramila. The DILG and the Philippine National Police are now on the road to serious reform, the secretary maintained. Even though Lieutenant Colonel Dumlao was one of their own, he was not put above the law. The institution is not perfect, but the road towards a more trustworthy PNP has now begun, it added. Dumlao's co-accused, Chief Master Sergeant Ricky Santa Isabel and National Bureau of Investigation errand boy Jerry Omlang, were meted with the penalty of reclusion perpetual without parole. Meanwhile, another co-accused, Executive Master Sergeant Roy Villegas, became a state witness in the case. A police officer in the Police Regional Office Negros Island region is under investigation for allegedly extorting an applicant in exchange for assistance to enter the police service. In a statement on Tuesday, PRONIR said the complaint against the implicated personnel, whom it did not immediately name, was filed before the Bacolod City Police Office but did not say when. The police personnel allegedly demanded and received money from a PNP applicant in exchange for purported assistance in securing entry into the police service, the regional police explained. The complainant likewise alleged that additional payments were subsequently requested. The matter is now the subject of appropriate criminal and administrative proceedings, it added. In the statement, PRONIR Director Brigadier General Romano Cardano assured that the case against the implicated officer will be thorough and impartial. PRONIR also appealed to other individuals who may have experienced the same alleged extortion to come forward and report the incidents. No applicant is required to pay any amount of money to secure appointment into the Philippine National Police. Recruitment and selection are based solely on qualifications, competencies, and compliance with established requirements, the regional police stressed. For its part, in its own statement earlier on Tuesday, the PNP took note of the case. The PNP reiterates its zero-tolerance policy against any form of misconduct, including allegations of extortion, abuse of authority, or any act that undermines the integrity of the police service, the National Police Force maintained. It assures the public that all such complaints are acted upon without delay and properly investigated in accordance with due process, it added. Neither the PNP nor PRONIR disclosed the current status of the implicated officer. For using a privately owned lot as a motor pool and spending 39,850 pesos for improvement, the vice mayor of Bagabag in Nueva Vizcaya was meted out a 5-month suspension by the provincial board. In an 11-page decision handed down on Monday, provincial board members led by Vice Governor Eufemia Daqueo found Bagabag Vice Mayor Nestor Sevillina administratively liable for grave abuse of authority due to his action. Sevillina used the lot after signing an agreement with the owner during his stint as acting Bagabag mayor, according to a complaint of 10 town government workers. 9 board members voted in favor of Sevillina's 5-month preventive suspension, while 5 others voted against it. The vice mayor, though, has yet to comment on the matter, and there is no confirmation yet whether he will seek a motion for reconsideration, as he has been on sick leave from the 18th of May to the 23rd of June due to health problems. First-ranked councillor Francisco Bayotencina has been serving as acting vice mayor due to Sevillana's absence. After the contract was signed, Sevillana disbursed 39,850 pesos from government funds for lot improvement and construction materials for the area. The complainant cited Section 22 of the Local Government Code of 1991, Republic Act No. 7160, which requires the vice mayor to seek prior authorization from the town council before entering into a contract as a local government representative. The complainants were assigned to the motor pool where government vehicles were brought, and equipment was stocked. The vice mayor claimed in his reply to the complaint that a lot was allowed to be used free for public purpose without compensation and without an initial formal contract. He claimed that no government funds were spent on construction of a perimeter fence and that the property was refurbished to promote public welfare in the town's services. The complaint lacked factual and legal basis to support a charge of grave abuse of authority under Section 60E of the Local Government Code, and the imposed preventive suspension was unwarranted and unsupported by law and evidence. He also claimed that he has been in the public service for 24 years without any cases. The provincial board did not give credence to Sevillana's claims, adding that he exceeded his authority for failure to comply with the law and legal requisites for any local government's contract with private entities. The board opined that Sevillana should have been well versed in government rules and the conduct of public officials, considering his long record of service. The board has cited its oversight power over elected town officials to hear and decide administrative complaints and impose penalties for breaches. That's all for this week. I'll see you next Friday with more stories of corruption and foolishness within the Philippine government.